Good afternoon, Mayor West, councillors. I too pay my respects to the traditional owners whose lands were stolen and colonised and with whom we have never made a treaty. Their sovereignty of this land has never been ceded. This is Aboriginal land. Always was, always will be. I note that at the last local NAIDOC night, every speech was about the desire for treaty, as a treaty ends a war. Reading Dark Emu by Bruce Pascoe and looking out the window on the way here, I feel sorrow for the state of this land, for what we have done to it, knowing climate change has just begun to show us its plans for these lands. For tens of thousands of years, Indigenous Australians lived sustainably in this country, improving soil fertility and farming, contrary to what we were taught in school. And now the land is dying. We did that. The animals are dying, the insects are dying, and our soils are degrading and eroding, blowing away in the winds. Our once great river systems and wetlands are dry. The Arctic is melting. The Greenland ice shelf and West Antarctic ice shelves have begun irreversible melting. Bushfires ravage the land. Land clearing is escalating right here in Australia, and unburnable rainforests have burnt. For the first time in human history, there is no sea ice in Alaska. We can talk to farmers about drought, but not climate change. Don't mention that dirty phrase. If we all don't talk about it, maybe it won't happen. But climate change doesn't work like that. Climate change is science, facts. It is not opinion or politics or whatever you believe it to be. It doesn't care if you believe in it or not. It is coming regardless of your belief or state of readiness to accept its truth. And it is coming, largely because we will not act now to stop it, will we? Our current government will not, has not, and cannot change because the government is obsessed with GDP, continuous growth at all costs. Capitalism demands infinite growth, and this is incompatible with living on a finite planet. Always was, always will be. Continuous growth at the detriment of your host is the nature of cancer. We need to become better than that. We need a regenerative, sustainable future. We need to enrich our environment instead of treating every part of our world, including each other, as a resource to be extracted and capitalised upon. Understanding the concept of remaining carbon budget to power our transition away from carbon emissions, we, as a society, have big decisions to make. It is not now about how we live, but indeed, if we live, and if we can spend the carbon budget wisely. That budget will be gone in 8 years, spent, and by then we need to be carbon neutral. By then we need to have learned to live sustainably, learned to improve our soil fertility, to preserve our precious water, and to have secured our ability to grow food in the hotter, drier environment we are transitioning to. We need to not be afraid to ask the hard questions and re-evaluate our priorities. We need to undergo deep adaptation, or we, as a species, will not survive. We need to focus on resilience, relinquishment, and restoration. Council's role in this will be enormously important. Local council will make so much difference to how the impacts of climate change will be felt by local residents. If you do not believe that, then you should not be in this room. I put it to you that from now on, climate change planning should be your #1 priority. The climate and ecological emergency has arrived here in Australia, despite the government's political beliefs, its ideology, because the climate cares not for those things. Deep down, we all know what is coming, and we know why it is coming. And we know what we must do now. We just need to do it. And we don't have any time to waste. Climate change is the most complex existential threat humanity has ever faced. We can beat complex, if we try, if we break through the paralysis of denial and emerge ready to rise up and meet this challenge together. And if we use every skill and all our collective knowledge to tackle climate change now, without prejudice and without fear, without outdated ideology, embracing the true brilliance of humanity. Let's prove that we are worthy of another chance as a species to reach our potential. We are balanced on the edge of a cliff, staring into the abyss right now, paralysed, uncertain, hesitating. You claim to be our leaders, so lead us, inspire us. Show me why I have come here again today to beg you for action. Rise to the occasion. It is time. Do what you can while you can. That is all I ask of you, because we are all in this together. Always were, always will be.